Okay, we're a minute early, but don't worry about it. I won't charge you extra. Hi, Dee Dee. Came to work early. Good girl. No bonus. Sorry. Hi, Terry. Hey, Barbara. It was having fun having Denise this morning at Dee Dee's. I love her. I just love that girl. If she lived closer, I would adopt her, but I'd probably have to kidnap her to do it. But I would. Hi, Missy. Hi, Kat. All right, it's 12 now, so I'm no longer early. I was just really sitting here looking at my mess that I really need to clean up. So, and here the pop-ups begin. Boy, there must be a lot of people who schedule them for right at noon because they come. Hi, Ruth. So we'll just give it a few minutes for people to come on in. Hi, Linda. Give Tim a hug. So, yeah. Haven't been doing much, you guys, but okay, Dee Dee, it's in my cart. I'm going to argue with myself for at least 24 hours, but I have something else in my cart that I want too, so I probably will check out tomorrow. That was a very cool book. I liked it very much, and I really liked the idea of the flip out swatch book. Ugh, now I want to make one, but I have other stuff I need to do. So, yeah. Did FN Fortnite come in? I didn't see. Anyway, if you come in and I miss you, I apologize. I always feel like I want to do a pop-out chat, but I can't because I'm on StreamYard. So Fortnite is not showing up on my chat. What the hell is that about? I just scrolled back and I cannot see Fortnite anywhere. That's really odd. Really odd. Anyway, so let me show you guys a couple things. Dee Dee, these are the pencils that I found for Cam. And I just feel like there's probably more around. But yeah, I'll try and get these out in the mail before he heads off to, there's FN Unpeeled. Yeah, before he heads off to Yellowstone. I'm kind of jealous that he gets to go spend all that time. And then Tina, she's not here yet, but Tina sent me a dozen of my very favorite pens, the Hybrid Technica. And the thing I like about them, they're not waterproof, but you can get that 03 nib and they are smooth as silk. So Tina, if you watch the recording, thank you very, very much. Yeah, see, we're over on StreamYard. We should be seeing. Hi, Belinda. We should see all the chat, but I did just see Fortnite. So, yeah, on StreamYard, you don't get to pick anything. You should just be seeing all the chat. And then, you guys, I got a letter in the mail. I'll just show this. Okay, I went to school in Lakewood, Colorado, and we were the Lakewood Tigers. And I got this letter in the mail the other day. Look at the stamp. It's got a tiger on it. And it's on black paper. Our colors were black and orange, and there's a little paw print on the back. These are so cute. But look what it is. 50th high school reunion. Hi, Sherry. You guys, how could I be graduated for 50 years? 50. August 8th. That's my sister's birthday. I'm not going to go, but when this came in the mail, I have to say it set me back. I was just like, what in the world? 50 years. 50 years. I feel like I should still be in high school. I shouldn't be like 50 years graduated. So in case you're wondering, that's exactly how old I am. Hi, Cat and Paste. Anybody I might have missed? Yeah, 50 years. You want to feel old, get something like that in the mail. I thought they were writing to tell me I had a library book that I needed to turn in or something. No. Yeah, nice to get an invite, but why are they punishing me? I should be in junior high. Hey, right, Bossy Butt? And Dee Dee, thank you for my crowns. I will actually sit probably in the evening while I'm watching TV and fussy cut myself some crowns. So thank you, Dee Dee. And then while I was, your 50th was last year, Kat, I kind of had the impression that, well, your name 1956 and Barbara calls you 1956. I thought we'd have to be the same age because I was born in 1956. And I thought Kat and I have got to be exactly the same age, which translates to older than dirt. But I'm not complaining because it's better than the alternative. But then while I was looking, and it's been over a week since Cameron had mentioned that he liked those pedigree pencils. And I've been telling myself, go look for them, go look for them. And finally this weekend, I broke down and got into the cedar chest where I keep a lot of old supplies that I let the kids use when they come. And when I was digging around in there, it's a cedar chest. I found a couple, and I think maybe Courtney and I did this journal, and I think it was what was that called? Art by Fives or something like that. You were born in 58. Okay, so you're a couple years younger. Hi, Barbara Clark. Did I say hi, Cat and Paste? Anyway, I think Courtney and I did this on stream, journaling by fives. And then I got wondering, did Courtney keep hers or what? But the backgrounds are really fun. And we must have been fussy cutting stuff. But that was fun. It's fun to run into old stuff. We used some stencils. Shannon Green, yeah. Journaling by fives. Bite me. Some things never change. Always say yes to dancing. And we obviously didn't get much done in them, you know, but it was just fun coming across these sloth. I have to draw a sloth for my next passport journal page. I'll show you the one I just finished. It came out pretty good. I like it. So yeah, this was fun to run into. But then the really fun one, and it'll go back in there. And this was years ago, you guys. And Eileen was here because I remember working on this and her hollering at me all the time. And I don't remember if Artful Evidence, I don't remember much about it. But these were the prompts for each day. You're only here for a short visit. Don't hurry, don't worry. Be sure to smell the flowers along the way. Okay, so this was 2018. Look at these. This was a doodle page. I'll look at the prompts. Number 1 was flowers. Number 2 was doodles. 3 was butterfly. I actually remember sitting color in that. 4 was coffee and tea. And I was surprised that the lettering came out so good on this one. Hi, Brenda A. 5 was drips and splatters. That was fun. 6 is spring. Live every day like it's spring. And I'm going to show you something with those flowers again. 7 was tags, which is some snark. 8 was masks. So I must have done a mask of a circle in different sizes. This one I like a lot. I did do the lettering myself. All the lettering in here, yeah, I did myself. This was flourishes, which apparently I never did. This was crackle. This was crackle paint in the background. This is love. Greenery. These are fun. This is damask. $14 is landscape. Candyland. $15 is chevrons. Oh, I didn't do that page. I'm going to say, well, that's not chevrons. 16 is poppies. Well, that's postage to me. Paper tiles is what this one is. I like this. 18 is circles. So I did Lost in Space. Things with wings. Words are like bees. Some create honey, some leave a sting. And then that was a free choice summer pets, and then I just quit. But that was fun to run into that. What have I got back here? That's out of a coloring book. Happiness is balloons. Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, this was from 2018. Fly Me to the Moon. I am the ruler. Huh. So I just came across those and thought, I'll just show them because I don't always do watercolor. In 2018, I might not have been doing watercolor at all. Who knows? Hi, Tina. Hi, Mama Juju. Anybody I missed coming in? And then I still haven't been doing much of the art from Instagram. I don't know why. I can't get motivated. But that was the one that I did that I showed you last time. And then these are 2 that I was doing when I was just playing. So I haven't posted any of these. Your lunch date just got here. There you go, Brenda. So these are Mary Engelbright flowers. I love Mary Engelbright. I love everything she does. So you can see I've used her stuff before. But yeah, this would be the 9 panel. This would be the 4 panel, another 4 panel. Yeah, love me some Mary Engelbright. So, and I kind of like doing this smaller size. These are small, you guys. It's like 4 by 4, maybe. Yep, 4 by 4. So I like doing this smaller little art. And then, all right, I'm just going through this pile of crap here. The only other thing I've done, I'll do scavenger hunt first. The scabby. Hi, K-Berg. Great journal. Need to revisit it and see the upgrade versions. It would be fun to redo those prompts again, right? So anyway, in the scabby hunt, I don't remember what I've shown or not shown. I know I showed the gratitude page because I did that last week. This is the page I wasn't sure if I'd shown you. So I needed to do botanical and things in glass. So this was a stamp my mother had. Why are you not focusing? Focus, you freak. Maybe you can see it a little better. But then all the flowers are stickers. Well, they're actually rub-offs that I've had forever. So no circus on that page, just flowers and things in glass. But I like the way it ended up turning out. And I think that was all I did in this. And I've only got like 6. Oh, okay, I was going to show you guys the page that I worked on, the found relatives that I painted last week. That's how it ended up on the page. A rub-off is, Tim Holtz makes them, but they come on a sheet and you lay the sheet down and then rub off. I wish I had some here. I don't have any here right now. Hi, Debbie Epps. So that's how the freak show page turned out, and I ended up liking it. And this is my ancestors' flag. So they're all Norwegian freaks. And that's it. But I've only got like 6 more to do. So I may or may not get it finished. We'll just see. Oops, I need to put this back. Things in glass. And I've actually only got 1 empty page left. So, yeah. Is Devin taking off? Bye, Bussy Butt. Go give your mom a hug and make her work. Devin's mom is back at her care facility. They released her from the hospital, so I was messaging with Devin over the weekend, and I always worry that they'll put them back over in the nursing home and not work with them. Yeah, I really like the rub-offs too. But yeah, give mom a hug and make her work her little butt off. Because when you get elderly, and I mean, really, I think anything after 40, coming back from an injury like that is really hard. Oh, CB, you're just full of crap, but hi. But I'm sure Devin will not let her mother, slack off because she's bossy that way. Then what else did I have? Oh, the last thing I had to show was my most recent passport journal page. And I ended up pretty much liking this one. I did Taiwan. And I read a lot about these places, so I learn a lot. I learned a lot about the history of Taiwan and how it became independent, and but it was fun to learn. And for such a little country, very wealthy, obviously, and yeah, it's a cool place. I wouldn't mind visiting Taiwan. I'm not excited about going to really any of the Asian countries except Japan and Taiwan. And of course, CB's been all over, I think, Asia. So, but this is Taipei. There was this picture, and this was kind of in the evening, but they also had a nighttime one that was just so gorgeous. It would be fun to live up on a mountain and look down at that at night. It's so gorgeous. But there's obviously a lot of pagodas, and they have a lot of festivals. And I wanted to include the Lantern Festival I ended up putting over here. There was tons and tons of pictures of these lantern festivals that they have. Oh my gosh, that looks so fun. Asia, but sadly not Europe. Yeah. So, but their flower was the plum blossom, which you'd think would look very much like the cherry, but very different as well. But that was fun. I like drawing that. And then the black bear, I still have to finish him and put his white on him, but he's a little baby and he's so cute. And their bird is the Mikado pheasant. So that's the Taiwan page. And then the next country that I picked was Costa Rica. And of course, that's Central America. And I have not drawn any of the birds, and their animal is a three-toed sloth, which I love sloths. And they even have a insect. So yeah, so I'll have some stuff to draw on that one. And I've started the research, but I haven't started the page. But most of the countries in that batch of stickers that Terry sent, because this is what got it started, was those stickers that Terry sent. There's more Asian and Central American countries than anywhere else. So, yeah. But yeah, I'd love to go to one of the lantern festivals. They just look so pretty. So that's what I've been doing. Not much, that's for darn sure. In a lot of the countries, I don't have any ephemera or anything for, but then Kat went ahead and sent me, I guess Portos has a book out that I'm going to have to go look at and see. Aw, thank you, CB. I do like the passport journal. It's been fun for me because I can spend a whole day doing nothing but research about whatever country it is that I'm going to do next. Because if I was just going to do the bird, the flower, the whatever, I could have that done in 15 minutes. But I like to see what their GDP is. I like to see what they export, what the majority of the people do to earn money. I always look up their art and their textiles and, just kind of see what it's all about. And then I didn't for Taiwan. Maybe I should have, but I like going and watching the YouTube videos of people who have traveled there and what they say about there. Hi, Marguerite. Beautiful British Columbia. It is beautiful in British Columbia. And that's pretty much all I have been doing and what I have to show. And then I thought today, I considered doing a Pantone card, and I don't know why, I just can't get excited about it. The passport journal. Well, Debbie Epps, who does stuff like that? Hi, Debbie. But anyway, and then, I'm like a kid. Squirrel. And then I'm off on something else. But Terry Brett did a thing the other day. Let me see if I got it on the phone. I tried to pull it up so it would be just sitting waiting. Sometimes it resets me, so I'll have to go again. Yeah, I have to go again. That's all right. Only take a second. And now Instagram isn't working. What the hell? Okay, here it is. This is from Terry Brett's page. Can you see it? The coloring, I know, is off. But there's something appealing about this sort of art to me. So, and I told her in comments, now you've done it, now I have to do it. So it's been on my list of things that I was going to do. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do it today. My problem is my compass that holds the pen, I've totally ruined. It was a plastic screw and I've ruined it. And I've just been too cheap to buy myself a new one. Not really that I'm too cheap. It's that I don't want to buy another one that has that plastic screw because I'll just wreck it again. So, Terry, I'm going to need you to help me. Were there any rules in doing this? Because I noticed that you had some that had an outer circle and an inner circle, and I like that whole idea. I very like that whole idea. But then also there's circles that don't have the border. So does it matter, or I can just do whatever I want? And then we'll have to pick some colors too, because one thing I thought, and I only got out, I wonder if that'll be big enough. It's a half of a 9x12 watercolor sheet. I wonder if I should do it on a bigger sheet. Kids are back. Okay, Debbie, go whip them into shape. Teach them something. Teach them manners. How about that? Teach those kids some manners. Okay, I'm waiting for Terry to tell me if there's Of course I'm concerned about rules. I'll probably break them, Barbara, but I want to know if there's rules I'm breaking. I'm working toward a goal here, right? You know, another day I broke the rules. No rules, except she does have a white space next to a color or black if you look. Okay, I did go and look at her work. Let me see here real quick. Terry did mention the person that inspired Terry was Carrie Ellison. And she has some beautiful stuff over on hers. So the rules are, she does have a white space next to a color or black if you look. I made a couple of mistakes. Okay. So I can do pretty much whatever I want. Okay, and then the next thing I have to decide is, do I want to work with a limited palette? And I wasn't sure if I was going to use a circle template or the compass. I'm going to order myself a new compass that holds a pen, but I'm going to try and find one. You made the mistake of looking at her work? I know. Hi, Kathleen. So I think I'll start on this size, and then I have an opportunity to goof it up. How about that? And I'm going to do mine in watercolor. Terry, I think you did yours in markers, and I didn't pay any attention what Kelly had done. But I thought, I think I will. Okay, you use both. Okay, but I thought today, I think I'm going to use watercolors. And I haven't used the Prima Jane Davenport. Dee Dee sent me a link to some little tins. And what I did with all my Prima and Jane Davenport tins was make a wooden palette for them to all live in. So I did write on each of these which set they came out of. So if I wanted to put them back in their tins, I could get them back in their regular tins. But I really like these two palettes of watercolors. And I swear to God, the Prima and the Jane Davenport watercolors are the exact same paints. I can't tell any difference in the two. I really can't. So I just piled them all right in here. So I thought I would use those today because I have uber colors. So now I have to decide, do I work with a limited palette? Carrie Ellison, yeah. I had to come in because of the Focus You Freak. Hi, Melinda. Well, welcome. Yeah, Focus You Freak. That's for the camera, because me and the camera don't get along well. She is on Instagram, and her work is compelling. It's very interesting. So I don't know. Let's get going. On any of the circles that have a border, I'm going to have to use this. But let's just let me pick out, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Do I want wide borders? Let's do the wide border. What the heck? I'm going to use one of my brand new Sharpies. All right, so it's just an overlapping of circles. And I might come back in and give that one a border, but let's just draw some circles and then I'll decide which ones get borders. And I'm assuming all different sizes, and overlapping is obviously important, in all different sizes. Something spoke to you? Yeah, well, if you're a little cuckoo, you came to the right place. Pay attention to that Dee Dee, because she's not just a little cuckoo. She is a lot cuckoo. Have no idea what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. We're just going to play. But the reason I wanted to use the watercolors was I like the blossoms and I like all that. And it works good if you have, you know, a limited space. So that's why I thought watercolors will be great. Hi, Dorothy. Dorothy was a winner this morning over at Dee Dee's. Won herself some napkins. Now, Dorothy, are you going to use them? And I don't mean for dinner. Are you going to create art with them? Inquiring minds need to know. Answer me, Dorothy. Yep, use those dang napkins, girl. And I'm just going to trust that this is going to work out. What do I know? All right, now we got to get something that's going to maybe connect all these together. Maybe this one, a little big. All right, let's do, it's not big enough. That's why I like a compass. All right, that size is what's going to connect them. But I think it's the overlap that, but I want spaces big enough, you know, that I could actually have space to do something in. Another fun thing that might be, hey View, might be fun is to use alcohol markers with this. All right, let's use that intersection right there. And because I'm using a Sharpie, I won't have to worry about bleed or anything like that, which is a good thing. Oh, I shouldn't have gone up to the edges. Oh, well. We'll go off the edges on each edge, and then, because I was thinking, okay, what Terry used, I think, gray in the background of hers. Terry, am I having too many circles? You need to order a Circle Master now. Usually these are pretty inexpensive, but they are, honestly, they're the most useful tool you'll ever have. Why draw a circle when they make these awesome things for you? You can't come over here without shopping. Because I don't want to add after I've started, because then I could screw up, you know, what I'm doing. All right. I should put a little fish down here with bubbles coming out of his mouth. I'm trying not to leave too much background, and that's kind of my goal right now. I just went off the bottom. Okay, so I'll do a smaller circle up here. And I'm trying to kind of pay attention that I'm not making it top heavy, that there's kind of an equal distribution. Have as many as you want. You just have to be careful getting those white spaces right. That's kind of what I'm afraid of. Okay, I feel like I need something here, and then I think it will be balanced. Okay, we'll let it intersect there and there. Okay. Now the problem I'm going to have is if I want the borders, I'm going to try, but it's going to be really hard. Because see, like on, where's that big circle that I started with? I could try and do this one in between, but see how much border it leaves? Too much. But you know what? Let's do that anyway. And then I just won't even use the compass. All right. That's what I'm going to do. That's how I'll do my borders. They'll just be a little bit bigger. Yep, I did that one there. So we use this. Getting the compass the right size, because I don't know where the center of the circles is what's going to create a problem for me. But maybe next time I'll have a decent compass, because I am going to do that no matter what. Okay, that was this size circle. So this will be, I don't want to do that one though. So, okay. Bear with me. Okay, so if that was in the circle, okay, that has a little bit smaller border. And another one. This size, go next size down. All right, I'm pretty sure this won't be my last one of these, so I'll get it perfected at some point. Yeah, see that one, if I go down one, it doesn't leave hardly any border. So let's move down another one. One, two, three, four. Okay, that's an uneven number. We're going to stop there and just go for it. How about that? It's an instant background. Exactly, View. Yep. Circles are awesome. I love that circle page that Denise did this morning with Bitty Penny papers. Melinda taking off. All right, focus, you freak. Now we have to decide colors. I'm kind of inclined to go with a limited palette. I could do like monochromatic, because I use too many colors, it just looks like a circus, which I love circuses. But I'm thinking for this, I might want to use a limited palette, like blue, green, and purple is a color combination that I particularly love. Let me get out a little palette here. So do like 2 different purples, 2 different greens, 2 different blues. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? You know what's really funny, Barbara? On the StreamYard chat, when you put in like the music note, it tells me face turquoise music note. It spells it out, but it doesn't show the emoji. All right, let's pick some greens. What do you guys think about it? I want kind of bright colors, so like that Jane Davenport bright green. I like that. And then the other green that I maybe would work with it is the 139. All right, let's try that. And I have to use my cheat sheet when I do this. Does Jane Davenport still sell her watercolors? I suspect she does. I've had mine for many, many, many years. I bought them when they came out in the stores. And then it wasn't very long before I was thinking, you know what? These are exactly like the Primas. And if you ever use the Kuretake and have those great big pans, these little pans kind of annoy me. Limited, yeah. Okay, good, Terry. Yeah, I think it is too. I mean, it might be fun to do one all different colors, but yeah, not right now. And then what did I say? The 139. And a lot of these look brand new, you know, like I never used them. And that's entirely possible. Just saying. And then I'll do the same thing with the blue. I'll pick a light blue and a medium blue that'll work well together because I want to mix the colors. And Terry's was, when she picked a space, it was one color. But I think I'm going to mess with the watercolors and what watercolors can do. Just because that's what I like. All right. Put this one aside. Say goodbye to my awesome watercolors. I love these wooden trays so much. All right. Blue. Let's look. Bright blue. That 46 is really pretty. Or should we go with more like an ultramarine? That's pretty too. Oh my gosh. Picking colors is really hard. It's not easy, you guys. How about one light and one dark from each color you're using? Yeah, that's kind of my idea. Yeah, that's what I thought too, Dee Dee, is that she has a bunch of other stuff now, but maybe if you go to her website, I know she has the circle palettes of watercolors, which I resisted. I can't tell you how many times I looked, but I absolutely resisted. I'm thinking I like that 36 right there. And what would be a good light version of that would go good with the greens? Let's do 133 and 36. Not exactly the same, but close enough for government work. Did I pick the right one? Yeah, I did. And I'll probably have to get some more of this paint out. So if you guys could remember which ones I used, I'd appreciate it. 133 and 36. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but the weather here right now is absolutely gorgeous, like mid 70s, sunny. Ugh. So this week I'm going to try and get outside and work in the gardens, get the gardens ready before Robert goes out and weed eats them. Did I say I put the wrong one? I want 36. Okay. But yeah, my hostas are coming up. The daffodils have already bloomed. They're starting to die back now. So we are well into spring here, and I can't tell you how happy I am about that. I had my absolute fill of winter. I don't know if I'm just getting less tolerant or what, but yeah, I was ready for winter to be over. Yeah, she had the fish scale one. Yep. You didn't bring your notebook, Barbara? Well, you know that what's really lucky about that, you can come back and just look at it again. All right, and for the purples, I don't have a huge selection of purples. Isn't that weird? But let's do the Jane Davenport, this purple, and 75. 75 is very dark, so I might have to water it down quite a bit, but that's okay. I've always said watercolor purples have the worst selection, and they're usually not really pretty. I'm not a huge fan of purple, though, and I know that's going to bring hate letters. Hate away. I'm good with that. Just not a fan of purple. And when I'm old, I'm not going to wear purple. Black, gray, and blue. Okay. Add a little bit more water to that. And then the other one was the third one. Okay. 6 colors should be enough, right? If we get started and we don't like it, we can always add more. That's what I always think. Start out less crazy and then move to crazy. You know what? I should have probably picked like one of the pastel colors to see how the filler or the white, I might come back and do that. What made me think of that is that blue next to that purple. Let's just do a little experiment. Hey, Raul. It was so good to see you this morning at Dee Dee's. Glad you're back, and I know you're leaving again really quick, but I hope your health camp was awesome and that you came back and at least said hi to us before you bail again. I'm looking for some watercolor paper here. I keep a pile of stuff that I could just play with stuff. Let's see how the a paint color that has the white filler in it responds to that. It probably is going to behave really oddly, but that might be really fun too. See what it's doing? I think that's very cool. Oh boy. All right. I'm definitely going to have to do a second one of these. But I'll leave these out and I might come back in because by adding that little bit of blue, it made that real dark violet a really pretty light color. I don't know how good you guys can see it. All right. Just another idea going on over here. All right, let me look at Terry's original again to see where I'm going to start. It's cold there, but it's gorgeous. Yeah, see, on these really big areas, those were left primarily white. So I'm kind of thinking leave that great big area there. I think what I'll do, and this isn't cheating because I'm making it up as I go along. And for those of you who don't need big circles, you can buy a small circle template too. Let's go ahead and just add in here. In some of the bigger areas, add something that I can add color to. I don't mind having some big areas, but like that, that's too big a white area. And then this one, I think I'll put a smaller circle. No, I'll put 2 smaller circles. Okay. Just break up some of those really, really big areas. We can always add more too if we like. Hi, Lisa. It's only 33 degrees there, Barbara. Oh, all of a sudden I feel really bad that I'm bragging about my 70 degrees over here. But here in a couple months, when I'm sitting here bitching about it being 120, then you can tell me, oh, it's a balmy 72 degrees here. Okay. You can pay me back. Won't bother me. All right. Let's take the blue for, oh, I don't know if I rinse my brush. I can move the water a little bit closer, I guess. All right. If I have a little bit bigger area, I might do wet on wet. Here, I'll bring you guys down closer, okay? All right, now see that big area, I'm thinking leave it white, which means that would be, all right, this will be the color. And these small areas, I'm going to kind of do them first because I can't kind of experiment and play in them as much as I can the bigger areas. So yeah, you kind of got to think, Terry, and kind of plan out where your white is going to be. Okay, in this little bit. So each one of these that are going into that big white area will be some color. Okay. Where are these hairs coming from? I don't have a cat, but I did write Devin last night. I was looking at a reel on Instagram, and there was the cutest kitten that was called a Devin Rex. And so I wrote Devin real quick and I said, "Did you know?" And she was like, "Yeah, I knew." But I showed it to Robert and I said, "Can I have it?" I do that to him a lot. "Can I have it? Can I have it?" And last night when he saw it, it was the most adorable kitten you've ever seen. And I said to him, "Can I have it?" And I think I used this other purple. And he said, "Yeah, we could get that." It had these, Devin Rex cats have these huge ears. Oh my God, they're so adorable. He said, "Yep, if you can find one, you could have it." And come to find out, Devin Rex has a Devin Rex cat. That's how she got her name. But oh my gosh, did I want that. But then, like, when I'm pulling hairs off my paintbrush, I'm like, "You sure you want a cat again?" Because I do not miss the cat hair. Just saying. I don't eat it. I don't paint with it. So, yeah. You do. If you follow what she did, then there, where you did that blue bit in the center, it's a big white area that gets colored. Okay, now where I did, okay, so that means the white area around here would get colored. Oh, you're right, Devin, or Terry. What was I thinking? I should have done, oh, you're right. I should have done these the color. All right, now I'm just sitting here thinking, how can I get out of that? You're struggling with Art Nouveau, Lisa? Is it because you don't have any Art Nouveau? Or you don't know what to do? Because now sending you something Art Nouveau would be hard because we just don't have time probably with the mail. Yeah, doesn't work now that I've done the purple. You're right. Oh man, oh man. I don't know that there's a way out of that, Terry. I really don't. Because I was thinking I would do these colors and then the back would be all white. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm cheatering my way out of it. I'm going to go ahead and do that whole circle blue. And I know it's not going to make it any better, but I want the background in that area white. So and then I know that should be white in there. So what I'm going to do, this is how you cheat, okay? For those of you who are not cheaters, I'm going to show you how it's done. Well, I'll let that dry, and then I'll do it. Would that work? No. Okay, wait a minute. No, I don't think I can cheater my way out of this now. That's all right. We're just going to overlook it as wish I hadn't done that. Yeah, agreed, Terry. Yeah, you've really got to be thinking ahead, right? I'm leaving that background white though, because I'm thinking, all right, yeah, if I do that, that would work. Okay, this is how we're going to cheater our way out of it. We are going to cheater our way out of it. Come on, right pen. Check it out, Terry. Then that'll be white. And I'll do this green. Okay, Joanne, next to any color, any space that you painted, the space around it or next to it has to be white. Yeah, it's not going to be exactly correct because see, now I've got that white area that's going to be next to the white area, but we're not going to worry about that. Okay? Okay. We're just going to be a cheater, cheater, cheater. Let's move down here. All right, now let's talk this out. I'll decide first what I want white. So if I leave this white, that means that area, that area, that area, that area has to be color, which means this area will be white. Okay, let's do this little area right here. All right, this area is going to be white. So this area is going to be a color. Now I have to figure out how I can add some gold to this. Okay, and then this area next to that has to stay white. So this gets some color in it. And I just used the mixture of the green and the blue there. So that band will be white and this one gets painted. But what I'm thinking is with some of these big white areas, and it's kind of mixing multiple of the people who have inspired us, I might end up doing some doodles in the big white areas. Opening the door for Robert. Okay, it's on its way, Mr. Vaughn. All right, so that one's colored. This one has to be white, but this band here will have a color. All these rules. Ugh. Breaking the rules and I don't even know it. Terry, did you think about doing doodles in some of the areas? Okay, and because that's got color, that big area there is going to stay white, but this area will get color. And that means because that's going to stay white, this is going to be, I'm going to add more circles in here then. Learn as you go. I like to mix the colors on the page. It does look simple, which means since that's got color, this whole rim is going to be white. So let's break that up. While that's drying, we're going to get out our happy pen and circle template. Try and stay out of the areas that we've already got wet. It's over your head, Kat. I'm beginning to think that I may have bitten off more than I could flip and chew to. And let's, because we can, and I just put this in the wet paint. You guys should have bet money knowing that was going to happen. It was bound to happen. I didn't goof anything up, but I could have. Complexing in colors, is that what this is called? Or just how to drive yourself nuts? Okay, so that one, that means this one here. Oh, I like the way this happened where that whole area down there. And now I'm wondering, am I going to run into a spot where you have to goof up no matter what? I don't know. If you're going to work small, I would say you might want to use markers, because painting in small areas is really kind of a flippin' headache. And that means this area down here is all going to be white. That's white there. That means this whole area gets a color, but the band outside is white. All right, so let's get the really pretty blue. Hey, Terry, does that Kelly Ellison do videos or just what you see on Instagram? And I know you're probably not an expert, but I'm just curious. I would go watch one of her videos just to see how she works it out in her head. But with those white areas, now I'm itching to do some doodles or something in there. Because I had already thought to make the white and stuff really stand out, which you did awesome with your gray. But I thought if I came up with a design that I could just do in the area outside of any of the circles, and maybe a little bit inside too, you know, I don't know. You think I've got it, Terry? Woot woot! That blue is so pretty. Let's do the darker purple over here. All right, Terry's saying I have it now, so we'll see how long I can go before I totally mess it up. And if you don't have any Prima or Jane Davenport paints, I hesitate to say that they're inexpensive, because one of those Jane Davenport palettes of 12 colors could run you about $30. But they are pretty nice paints to play with. They really are. So I may have really goofed up here. And next time I do this, I'll be more mindful, because I should have just kept going from this and moved out, because now I've started down here, and when they meet, that's when I'm going to break the rules. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing some of the complicated ones too, Terry. That's why I was asking if you'd watched any of her videos, because see, while I've got this loaded up with paint, I want to paint some other areas to use the paint. It's like, hey, dumbass, you can't do that because you don't know where your paint is going to fall or not fall. So you've got to start in one spot, and looks like just keep working. So now that there's green there, or color, any kind of color, this whole rim has to be white, but the color inside, yeah, the inside here will have color. See how cuckoo it gets? And it was in these bigger areas like this that I was thinking it would be fun to play with the watercolor paints, mixing the color on the page and just letting it do. Like that green right there, I really like how it just kind of bled into there. And Esoldo Design does that a lot. She'll paint something right next to something and let the color sitting next to it just kind of bleed in. And it always turns out cool. I don't care if she's mixing brown with green or whatever. It just always comes out looking way cool. And that's why I always like experimenting with the colors that way. Because after you've done that, like there's no more control. You've just lost control. And I'm cool with that. All right, let's see down here how bad I've goofed up. But look at those blues playing together. Isn't that fun? Yeah, the bleeding colors make me really happy too, Lisa. Very, very happy. But let's go ahead and have these two areas join so I can see how badly I've goofed up. So if you're here for the dirty words, wait just a few minutes because it's bound to happen. And believe me, I know them all and use them all. My favorite is when I can string them all together and use them that way. I also thought about doing that. Thanks, Kat. Yes, I like that look, even if I can't get it. I know, right, Terry? So now that that's painted, the area next to it is white, which means this little area here gets a little bit of paint in there. And then it's white there and white there. Okay. Yeah. That means, oh, no, it worked out okay. Cool. Okay. All right. At least for right here, it's working out okay. Because it can join at a corner like that. Okay. All right. Maybe I didn't goof up as bad as I thought I did. Oh, bummer. Now I don't get to say all the dirty words. All right. Now I'm going to have to go back and check and check and check and check. But this whole area here, all right. I think in this big area here, I'm going to go ahead and do like a wet on wet. So, and I have a little bit of that paint left in my brush, but that's okay. I'm going to paint it with the water first. And then I'll add some color to it. And I might do a mixture of all three of the colors. We'll see what happens. But I want the paper good and wet. And if you're close to getting the scavenger hunt done, get on it You've got what, a little over a week now to let me know that you've finished. When you finish, let me know. Instagram is probably the best place to let me know. I mean, a lot of people have let me know at different streams and stuff, which is fine. But if you do that, make sure that I respond to you and tell you that I've got you on the list. So, because that's the one thing I'm always a little bit nervous about, is that it'll come day of the drawing and somebody will pop up and say, oh, I told you. It's like, oh no, hey Sharon. So make sure I've got you on the list before April 7th, because that is the day I will do the drawing. And if don't worry about double checking with me. I will not mind checking, because I'd rather be annoyed with you than leave you off entirely. So don't hesitate to say, hey, I finished. Do you have me on the list? The purple and green will not mix well, so that's why I'm doing these on opposite sides, and then I'm going to use the blue in between, because the blue will mix nicely with either one, but the purple and the green, not so much. Now just let it play. And that area will take a little bit longer to dry, because I really had it saturated. So do you remember how many have already let you know they have finished? Let's just take a quick break and I'll read it off, and then you'll know if you're on the list or not. First one to finish, first week in January, was Peggy Fitzmaurice. Barbara Chicken Pot Pie Society was done by week 2. Kim Polton, Kimberly, Terry Brett, Allison, Mama Juju, Dawn P., Miriam, Sheila, Tina Stanberg, Charmaine, Goldie, Kathleen, CB, Lindy, Joanne Newman, Ann Lar, and Christina. That's 331 Christina. So, do I need to get Lisa on the... Lisa, are you done? I'll get you on the list right now while we let that water sop up a little bit. Okay, so I'll add Lisa Mingus. Okay, so that means we've got an even 20, which is really a good number in my opinion, because last year, if I remember right, we had 15 people. And I write down where I'm told, because I'm going to have to notify you if you win, and then you're going to have to provide me some information. So I want to be able to get back to you. But Lisa, I see you either, you have 98 finished. Good for you. Marguerite has finished. All right, let's get Marguerite on this. Marguerite, I see you also at Dee Dee's or here. So I think I can notify everybody either here. Missy's getting there. Come on, Missy. All right, way to go. And you can thank CB for being the one to change the rules so that you only have to finish 90 to be eligible for the prize. I do like that rule, actually, because there's certain of them on there. And I don't know why I'm not excited to do them, but I'm just not. And I haven't made myself. And I don't want to just throw something on there to throw something on there. So, yeah. But right now, I would qualify for my own prize. I finished over 90 now. I think I've got 5 or 6 left. So that's cool. And whoever wins, I hope they like it. I hope they like the prize. All right, Sherry Habing. Oh, we've got a lot of people. Oh, I'm glad I mentioned this because I definitely want everybody who's eligible. Yeah, anybody who's eligible, I want them on the list. And Sharon Lombard. All right, anybody else? You did them all. Yeah, see, Tim is at 90. Well, Tim gets to go on the list, Linda. I'm happy that Tim got 90 of them done. And Tim gets to go into the drawing just like everybody else. Well done, all of you. You know, and it makes me happy. I think it's a fun way to start the year. Yeah, it makes me happy that so many people participate and get some value out of it. Yeah, just makes me happy. All right, let's put this up here. You know what? Even though by starting one place and then moving to another, and that one little screw up there, I think I lucked out. And it's not going to be real noticeable. That I have that one little goof right there. Okay, let me double check. So that's white, 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 white. Okay, so this needs a color. Let's put some of the darker green in there. Oops, don't need that much paint. Now, if I really like this, I won't want to doodle on this one, but I want to do one and doodle. Ooh, that blue started moving in. Oh, well. Yeah, I'm going to want to do one where I can doodle in the white spots, or at least some of them. Maybe not every one of them, but at least some of them. E. It would help if these lines were a little bit more bold and I wouldn't have to be so precious at the edges, you know? I mean, I'm just going around being precious all the time anyway, but you know what I mean. Let's go. Oh, there is a goof up right there. Because if I leave that white, paint that blue should not be there. But that would mean I have to do that. So, yep, I'm going to go ahead and just paint right up next to it. And there you go. That's one of the rules. Start in one place and keep moving. But I wanted that white. But see, now that's going to be white. That blue is just going to be in the total wrong place. Because if I go ahead and go back and follow the rules, this will be white, that'll be white. That means this has to be a color. All right. If it's another big area, we're going to do the same mixed colors. And that blue is dry, so I don't have to worry about painting up next to it. Oh, well, that's what I get. Screw up. Go ahead and get this wet so everything will run real good. Yee, dirty, dirty. I don't think I have a choice on this one now about whether or not I add purple. We'll do this one kind of rainbowish. And this dried really quick down here. But I will say, since the weather is nicer, I've been far more agreeable about leaving the house. Like, all right, so that's white, that's white, that's white. This needs a color. Let's do this in the lighter purple again. Okay, how many of you are going to try this? Blame Terry Brett. Hashtag all Terry Brett's fault. Got it? Yeah, see, I love when they run together like that. Like this one down here. I don't know, it's just, to me, it's fun. And I really wouldn't mind using, because see, this is white. That means this should be a color. And I was wanting to leave all that. Let me think about that, what I can do about it. Because see, now this is where I'm going to goof up again, because that's going to be white. That can't be white. See how I've goofed up a couple of different places? So, again, as always, hashtag it's Terry Brett's fault, as usual. Too hard on your old brain, Joanne? Oh, quit being a whiner. Just do it. All right. So I can make my boo-boo less noticeable. What would happen if I went ahead and put a circle inside that circle? Would that work? I think it would. Yeah, it would. Okay, or am I just prolonging the pain? All right, let me paint something down here that it can be drawing while I, and then I did it right next to where I'm going to draw a circle. What a dope. If I get any dopier, I swear to God, the dopey people are going to be talking about me. I think that will make it work. Just adding, right? Yeah, I think so. And the only place it'll be goofed up is here at this little, Jane, if I work, this is how I'm thinking about it. If I worked systematically, say from top to bottom, it would work out. Blame math. I think it would work. But see, I have this preconceived idea, which will never work, that I wanted these larger areas to be white. And so by painting this and this early, I goofed it up, I think, because everything would have fallen different. So that's the problem there. But I think if I add another circle in there, I'm going to try it. And let me hit it with a heat gun just so I don't start smearing stuff, because getting it white, now that's another thing. I could go in with some white out or whatever, white paint, and try and fix any problems I have. But with watercolor, that's really tricky, because as soon as you get it moist again, the watercolor is going to want to move. Look at that circle there. Let me lift it up. That's very cool. Now, see, I like that. I like that a lot. And that's one of those areas that if you went back in and doodled and drew around where they meet, it looks way cool. All right, that should be dry enough. Yeah, good enough. Good enough for government work. Now I need the bigger template, which I threw over here. Yep, you just got to relax and let it happen. But I think on this one, I don't think I have a circle in between those two sizes, which is really dumb. Yep, that's my problem. Okay, so now if it's a weird ass circle, we're not going to worry about it. All right, this is how we're going to do this. Y'all are going to think I'm cuckoo. Okay, so that's a 3-inch circle. So it's 1.5 that way. And 1.5 that way. Well, look at that. It's going to be right in that little circle there. Okay, we're going to try with a compass. And it's not going to be completely accurate, but it's good enough for government work. Don't talk to me about government work. The government's pissing me off. And I have to file my taxes. And Robert's. So I have every reason to be pissed off. Up, see? Move it down just a hair. Right now I can still, that's, how did I get that all goofed up? All right, let me see this. What if I put that in there? There. There. Oh, quite a bit different. This is a dumbass way to do this, you guys. All right, that truly is close enough for government work. All right, we're just going to go with that. And try and fix up our boo-boo. Now we'll know if it's going to work or not. All right, let me ink it in real quick. I really need a compass that uses a pen, you guys. I really need that. I've got to find one. All right, I'll come this way since I've got too many pencil marks. All right, we're going to find out. crazy. Now everything's dry, so I don't have to worry. All right, let's see how this is going to work out. Now that is just going to remain a screw up, okay? It's just going to remain, so I'm going to have to work around that. So one of them, yeah, I'm just going to have to work around it. Because say if I leave that one white, that one's going to get a color. So I'm going to leave that one and I'm going to put a color in this one. Is how I'm going to do that. God, I hope I haven't just made the whole problem worse. That wouldn't even surprise me. There you go, screw up. Now that little purple one I have to remember is white, even though it's not. For an old woman, right, CB? Sometimes it's steady. I do have a shaky hand occasionally, but it's pretty rare. I have a pretty steady hand. All right, so this one here needs color. Partly the reason I think I have a steady hand, CB, is because of calligraphy. You learn to be really steady when you do calligraphy. But occasionally I'll get a little jerk, just like, what was that? All right, so that one's white. This one's going to get color. So I'm going to put this same color over here. And I think if you draw a lot, you tend to have a little bit steadier hand. I could be full of crap. I probably am, but that's my lie and I'm sticking to it. So I didn't fix my screw up, but I think I minimized it. How about that? You like that? And if you're looking that hard for a screw up, I hope you find one. But Terry, you know what's surprising me? And maybe it's because I don't have enough circles. Were you surprised at the amount of white space you ended up with? Lucky you, Dorothy. I don't think there ever comes a time when we don't have to file taxes. Does that ever come, CB? That's only paybacks, girls. Just paybacks. I don't think we'd get that kind of break in the States, Dorothy. Now, one thing you do get in the States is you still have to file income taxes, but after a certain age, there's no limit on how much you can work. I mean, they want us working until we're in the freaking grave, I swear to God. And then they want to take our money and spend it on bullshit. But yeah, I don't think you ever get a break. Yeah, CB said, yeah, she's old as dirt and still needs to file. I don't think we get a break here. You are going to file your taxes and pay them no matter what. Yeah, now you have to earn a certain amount to file taxes here. That's for sure. If it's too low, you don't have to. Or if you don't convert assets, just because you don't have to file doesn't mean you're poor. It means that you haven't converted any assets. So there's a lesser need to file. I don't know. I hate the bastards. That's all I got to say. I don't say that year round usually, but around tax time, I have nothing good to say about the government. You know what? I don't necessarily mind paying income tax so much. Well, I do. I mind paying any tax. I see any tax as theft. Hi, Colleen. Okay, you're on disability. Don't file. I'm not sure about disability here. I think if you have other investments, you still have to file. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, the thing I would like them to eliminate that just seems absolutely crazy to me is I think they should eliminate property taxes for people over a certain age. Because the way that works out is you never actually own your house. Because if you don't pay your property tax, the government can come and take the house that you paid for and have been paying on since the day you bought it. I think there's something wrong about that. I'm sorry. I just think there's something wrong about that, that they shouldn't keep taxing you on something you own outright. And the people who are going to lose their house are elderly people who can least afford to recover. You know what I'm saying? That's what drives me crazy. Is leave the old people alone. Let them stay in their house. Government can't take it. Hi, Tammy. You file and they give you more money? Well, if you paid in too much, you get money back. That hasn't happened to me since retirement. And I don't have a problem paying my taxes. I really don't. We need, oh, look at what I did. I know we need roads and fire departments and policemen and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm an anti-tax freak. I could turn into one, but I'm not. I mean, I want kids to be educated. Don't think that I'm just bah humbug girl, because I am bah humbug girl, but you don't need to call me that. No, I think we should all pay. And I'm not sure if it should be done as a consumption tax or what tax. I'd rather have just a flat tax, frankly. If you earn $10, you pay X amount. That's it. Yeah, I have to pay federal. I pay state and federal every flipping year. Pisses me off. All right, question here. This whole area is going to be white, which would mean that whole circle is, that to me is just going to look weird, that big blob of a circle there. So let's do something to eliminate that, because I'm not loving it. Not loving it, not loving it. Maybe we could break up. I am bound and determined to screw this up yet. Keep your eyes open. I mess up yet. All right. That should help that whole problem. Right? That means that'll be color, white color. To reach you on your cellular device. Oh, it's the government wanting to talk to me about me bitching about taxes. Not really. I don't know who it was, but it probably is the government wanting to, yeah. So that'll be white color, white color, white. That would mean that's color. So, oh boy. Oh boy. You just keep digging that hole, girl. Keep digging that hole. If I stay on those lines, let's see how that works out. This is one of those puzzles. How do you keep it up? How do you keep an idiot entertained? Give him rules of every color must have white space next to it. That's how you do that. All right. So these colors, yeah. I think the large white spaces are going to make me want to doodle in there or do something. But I think I'm going to finish it, do the outside like I was thinking. And then decide. I do actually like this, Terry. I'm glad you made me do this. But I am a puzzle girl, so. But if I'd have started out right to begin with, I don't think I would have had the problems. In fact, I'm quite certain I wouldn't have. So, my bad, my bad. Don't count the background at all. Okay. I went out of lines there just a little bit. I think those I will be able to clean up with, yeah, because see, I've done it again here where this circle is going to be white and then the background around is going to be white. All right, I'm going to quit chasing my tail. How about that? Girl, quit chasing your tail. All right, I've got that big purple there. Let's do green. I think next time I'm going to do it on bigger papers so I can do bigger circles and play with the paint a little bit more. I'm going to try it on this one if I can keep this area wet enough, long enough. Oop, drop that brush. Okay, that's white. To reach you on your cellular device. Same number. Is attempting to... I think it was the same number. All right, let's do dark purple here. Okay, so that means that's going to be white, that's going to be white, that's going to be a color. Let's do the lighter purple next to that, and maybe the two will bleed together. And I'll use more water. And I'll encourage that dark to run down in here. And look at, it doesn't want to. Are you little pain in the butt, you? All right. Have it your way. So that's white. That's going to be a color. All right. Didn't help a lot, but it helped a little bit. So we're cool with that. Hi Joe Lou, if you're talking to me in chat, I'm not paying any attention. The FBI is so demanding. Knock on the door. Robert's outside. They'll have to get to him first. All right. I'm going to get clean water to try and clean that up. That means that's going to be white. All right. Here's what we're going to do here. Because we can. And I don't want that big old white thing in there. try to how about that, sports fans? You pay property tax. They're trying to pass a $100 wheel tax to pay for upgrades on our courthouse. Oh, wow, Brenda. Tax you on the wheels you need for your farm vehicles. Wow, that's getting very bold. I saw a complete list of all the different places you're taxed or you have to ask the government permission for. It's unbelievable. You can't do anything, nothing. I'm not even kidding you, without the government being involved. Drives me batty. I'm not even kidding you. I just think it's baloney. You know it. Oh, don't get me started. Don't even get me started. A wheel tax. Wow. Well, in the New York City, I don't know if they ended up passing it or not passing it, but they were going to start charging people. Hi, Starla. Thank you. Now, keep in mind, your governments have bought the streets that you drive on to go into New York City, and it is congested, no doubt, but they encourage people to use public transportation. That's what we did in Denver. If you'd driven on Denver's highways, it's where I met my husband, like it increased your commute just enormously, just having to fight the traffic. But they put in high occupancy vehicle lanes, and then if you rode the bus, your commute was just a zip. And I met my husband on the bus because I used the public transportation. And it was nice because I had a 45-minute commute, but you could get on and you could read a book, you could sleep, you could do whatever. So I loved commuting, or riding the bus. I didn't necessarily love commuting, but I did like riding the bus, because it gave you an hour almost each way just to relax or sleep or read or do whatever you wanted. So it was, to me, awesome. I liked it. But now the public transportation in New York has gotten so dangerous that nobody wants to use it. And so now they're going to charge you to drive on the roads that you just paid for. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why don't you make the subways safe so that people can get in and out of the city easy? What the hell is wrong with these people? You guys got me started. Well, maybe you didn't get me started, but now I'm started. All right. Did I do that right? Okay, now keep in mind that one is actually white, so that one gets a color. And I may try and fix that and color over it. I don't know. We'll see. So that little area gets a color. And let's go ahead and use the green again. I thought I was going to have to mix more paint, but I don't think I'm going to have to. But there's two things that I'm going to do because I don't like the big areas of white. But if I doodle in the areas of white, it will look way cool, I think. You have potholes the size of Texas. Yeah, I see. Well, in Oklahoma, we're famous for our toll roads. But I will say, those toll roads are absolutely maintained beautifully. So usually if you have a choice of driving the 2-lane roads that you don't have to pay for, or taking the turnpike, you're going to take the turnpike because it's a reasonable amount of money. You don't have the potholes. Plus, you get to go 75 miles an hour and you don't go through any towns. So I don't mind that. But the thing is, the toll roads are maintained beautifully. Like, yeah, they just maintain them so beautifully. You know what, Terry? This is a weird thing that I liked about yours, and I didn't notice when I went and looked at Kelly's. But you know where you had the circles with the borders, and every other one was black and white? I really like that. I'm going to have to figure that out. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure that out. But I'm not hating this. This is kind of fun. But I'm going to dry this so I can draw another circle, and then I'll kind of figure out what I'm going to do with the extra white space. Because wait a minute. Okay. Now, Terry, you said forget the background, but would this in here be considered? That would be considered a space I need to paint, wouldn't it? In that. So I won't end up with so much white space. Okay, I'm catching on here. Hang on. We're going to do this. Am I right? I think I'm right. That this area needs color. I think I'm right there. Oh my gosh. And that's how you end up getting the weird shapes. Okay, we're going to do it. Oh. And I'm just painting water right now because I'm going to mix the colors again. And I'm trying not to just totally saturate it so it takes half a life to start with the light green down here. Add some little bit of, oops, that was a lot, not a little. Kind of like ombre in there. No, that's background. Oh, no. Oops. All right, too late now, Terry. Sorry. Oh, damn it. I should have waited for that answer. What is wrong with me? Okay, Terry, on yours, background is on the outside of anything that's in the circle. But this one and that one stays white. Okay, I may have just goofed up. Oh, well. This is a learning thing, okay? Watch me and know what not to do. How about that? No, that's background. I could hear Terry. Hey, screw up. All right. So it's just got to be everything that's circle, right? Complicated again. Thanks, Christina. All right. That may be the only one that qualifies, though, Terry. Let's look, because that one would be white. That would be white. That would be white. That's this and this are the only weird shapes that I ended up with. Okay, I'm doing that. I'm not going to be upset that that is that color. But okay, now I know the rules and I won't screw up again. Okay, Terry? What? Now, have I forgotten anything? You guys look it over real carefully. I won't be moving it before I start making a couple little changes here. The only thing I think, if it's not in a circle, it's a background. Okay, all right. Sherry posted a short video on her Facebook page, so go watch that. Now I'm just looking in the camera. I really like the areas where I've mixed the paint, you guys. And that was kind of what I wanted to play with. So I'm really happy I did that. I think I would be happier if I had drawn it bigger or I didn't have so many smaller spaces. But right now I'm feeling like I like it. It's a little heavy on this end, is what I think. I'm feeling like it's pulling me this way. So, and it's because that big area of paint right there that it feels that way. So I'm thinking a couple things I could do. Let me hit it with a heat gun so I don't start smearing paint there. But I think there's a couple things I can do to make it feel more balanced. This white area here, I think I could add some color in here, and it's going to pull it this way a little bit. So let me find a circle that will, that one, I think that's the one. I'll just cut that circle almost completely in half. But, oops, don't be knocking off your cool stuff. Okay, but I want to leave a little bridge there so I don't goof up the white color thing. So I'm going to add some color to that to weight it this way. And then I'm also going to add some color to this. Wait, I'm going to do it over here so my screw up gets painted in. So that'll be white color, white. Okay. I think I want it a little bit smaller though. Now, what do I care if it goes off the page? I don't. All right, here we go. And now I'm adding those simply for balance. Yeah, that's what I thought too, Terry, that this should pull it a little bit this way and help balance it a little bit. I hope. Oops, didn't clean your brush out very good there, did you? Okay, another thing that you could do, messing with the watercolor, but you'd need bigger areas, so you'd want to draw this whole thing bigger, is, and maybe I'll try it here. We'll do a little experiment. I don't know if I want that a little bit darker or not. We'll see how much that moves and plays. But if I could figure out how to get gold on here too, I think I'd like that. Hi, Jeannie. Thank you. Yeah, I turned the papers, so yeah. All right. That helped a little bit. Now let's do this one with some green and maybe add some blue to it. And I only have the darker of the two greens left, so. And I'm close enough to done that I don't really want to pull any more out. So we'll just do this. I really thought I'd need more paint, but I guess it's surprising how much you don't use. Now on that purple one that's still drying up here, it would make a greater effect. Like I wish I'd thought to do it on this one. But just take a paper towel, or this is just probably yesterday's dinner napkin. And pick up some of the paint. Almost have like a polka dot effect thing going on. I'm gonna go ahead and paint that over. Oh, I added some blue to that. Oh well. That's fine. Happy accident. But I think that could be really cool too. So you did paint the background bits gray at the end to get rid of some of the white without adding another color. See, that's what I was thinking, Terry. And I'll start it here, but I don't know how much I'll do. Let me hit it with a heat gun. But I think I got all the areas. Let's just go over real quick. Other than the two screw ups that I did, like right there and right there, I think it'll be okay. And because this is so white over here, I don't mind the white on this edge. And you could do some very neutral color in the background around the edges.
Attempting to reach you on your cellular device.
This asshole just will not give up.
An idiot.
Don't call me anymore. But I think what I'm going to do, Terry, because I'm a glutton for punishment over here, let me hit it with a heat gun, because I think I'm done with the paint. It feels fairly balanced to me. Now I'm going to probably screw up that whole balance. Okay, there's an area in there. Let's go at, well, now I'm going to go ahead. Since I did that one, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. No, I'm not. Well, oh my God. Talk about indecisive. Girl, make a decision. No, Dee Dee, when you call, it says an idiot is calling. And then says, this time it's a real idiot. Because that would be the only place that's kind of weird since I painted that in. Yeah, that's the only thing inside the circles that wouldn't be painted. So yeah, to make it look like I meant to do that or should have done that, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit it with a heat gun, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to. You sound like me. I'm going to show you what I'm thinking about, but I won't do the whole thing because I think that it would just be torture for you guys. So think about something else you might want to do for a little bit of time. I like the colors that we chose, the purple, blue, green. That is always a very satisfying color combination in my world. Let me get a little sip of my drink here. Now I've got to think about Which pen do I use? Do I keep going with the Sharpie? Don't freak out, you guys. Let me try it on another sheet of paper over here and see. Kind of too bold. Okay, let me try the Sharpie pen. They've got a nice, where is it? Nope, that's purple. Hang on. Here we go. Okay, I think this will work good. This is just a Sharpie pen. Oh, Dee Dee. I did go ahead the other day, and I couldn't adult, so I did go ahead at Walmart the other day. They had another set of Sharpie creative markers. They do have the bullet tip, but the colors are really pretty. So I don't remember which ones I sent you, but they did have a new set at Walmart that had some really, really nice colors. The only thing is they are the bullet tip, but they seem juicy. They seem nice. So I bought them. All right. Let's jump in here. I think it's dry enough that I can put my hands on it. And I will not torture you guys making you watch this, okay? But I'll show you how I'll finish it off. And because I'm freehanding, they're obviously not going to be perfect. But I'll do one section so you can see how it's going to finish up. Let me pull you guys down. Okay, bye, CB. Go have some fun, girl. And this will take some time. That's why I'm not going to torture you guys making you watch. But I think around the edges, I'm going to experiment with this some more because I like the way it looks right now. And I'll clean up a few of these little areas that I've goofed up. But this was a good place to start. But I might try and combine this with Art Salute, Beginner. Christina put it in caps. It'll be a while, but like in the morning when I get up and I'm just sitting here drinking coffee, I usually listen to a recap of yesterday's news and I'm not really thinking. So I can sit and do this and it won't make me nervous. But I'm not going to torture you guys with this. And the further I get away from the circles in the center, I'll add a little bit of bigger circles down here. And that, oh, okay. Yeah, I put Christina down, I'm pretty sure, didn't I? Yeah, I have Christina. She told me at Dee Dee's stream. So, yeah, I got it. She told me that this morning at Dee Dee's stream. But yeah, I'm thinking I wouldn't mind doing this, only combining, no, that's good, Kat. No, I want to know. I'd rather be reminded than miss somebody, honestly. Um, so you can tell me 15 times, won't bother me even a little bit. But combine this with Art Salute Beginner. Maybe some Isoldo design. Well, I kind of did that today by adding the colors or letting them run together. Now, what are you going to do with this? Nothing other than do it. Enjoy your products. Use them. Experiment with color. To me, stuff like this, I could do it all day long. Doesn't bother me if it has a use or not. But this morning at Dee Dee's, I did write down out of that book that she showed, and it is in my cart. I don't know if it'll end up at my house. But that color chart book that she showed, the idea of that kind of old-fashioned, look at swatch and accordion book. I've got to put this in my Society of Idea Collector book. That sounds really intriguing to me as well. And I want to do a big enough area that I can see whether or not this will end up in the trash or if I'll end up finishing it. But this is also a Zentangle design. I think they call it stipple. It is relaxing to me. Now, maybe some people, this would drive them cuckoo. But I could sit and do this and listen to a podcast or something all day long. Wouldn't bother me even a little bit. But I think the thing that makes this particular background interesting is all the different color or sizes of circles. Looks like little circles trying to pop out or something. I don't know. I've always loved circles though. But I still think, I don't care how much you practice, you can't draw a perfect circle. So get yourself a template or a compass. I am going to put a little bit of a border around this. I think I'll go in and paint in a black border. I think this would be good too. If your color choices, like these were analogous colors, they all appeared next to each other on the color wheel. But another really striking piece of this would be if you used complementary colors, the colors opposite each other on the color wheel, blue next to orange. Now you couldn't mix that because you're going to get brown or some ugly shade of gray, but just the colors themselves sitting, maybe we'll try that real quick since we've got a little bit of extra time. All right, so now you can see, and I'll do that all the way around to this, and then pick it up here and go around and down here and down here. And then depending on how I feel about it, like this is the one weird place inside that it's inside a circle, but it looks like it's background. I might just let the circles pop up in some other places. Just to kind of tie it all together and make it feel real balanced. I was just saying that I finished it, but needed two things to face FB in the ATC card I never got. You've never gotten my mail? Christina, I'm so sorry. Oh, when did I mail that? I probably have it written down in my beast, but it's been a couple weeks, I'm sure. Your family always says that's nice. What's it for? Well, those people need to get a damn hobby, Dorothy. I say that about a lot of people. Sitting around watching TV is not a hobby. And honest to God, if doing art does nothing other than keep me from sitting on my butt, of course, I'm sitting on my butt here, but if it keeps me from sitting on my butt watching TV, then it's served its purpose. But I've seen too many older people that don't have a hobby. They sit around bored, nothing to do, so they turn on TV and nap. I don't ever want to do that. I don't ever want to do that. So when they ask you that, Dorothy, say it was for my enjoyment. I spent 3 hours making it and I enjoyed every flippin' minute of it. Now go pound sand. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Why did my grandmother sit around and embroider pillowcases? Did it make sleeping any better? Made it a little pretty for the 5 minutes that you were looking at it climbing into bed, but it didn't change anything. But she enjoyed doing it, she loved it, and she loved leaving it for us. So it's like any other hobby you have. Now, if your hobby is redoing old cars and you can turn a piece of junk into something valuable, good on you. Yeah, see, that's what I feel like, Jane, is I'm always learning something. I'm always looking for something new. Um, I love to get a package of new stuff from Amazon. Um, it's my money. And if the kids put it in a dumpster when I'm dead, I don't care. If they donate it to a school, I'm good with that too. But more than anything, I like sitting here using my brain, thinking, creating, having you guys to hang out with. Give me a downside to this. What's the downside? And why would you ask somebody, well, what are you going to do with that? I'm going to put it in a closet, find it in 5 years, and remember that happy day that I spent with my fibs making it. That's good enough for me. I'd rather do this than fix a big ass meal that people are going to gobble up in about 2.5 minutes and not appreciate how much effort went into it. Just saying. Am I justifying it? Could be. I don't know. But what I do or don't do with my stuff ain't none of your business. So that's how I'm going to do this background. It looks cool. Now, one thing I would like is somewhere where I can incorporate the gold. So that's going to take me some little time. And you make new friends, enjoy conversations and laughter, learn our see, that's just it, Terry. There's just not a downside. And I've seen too many old people that literally sit in front of the TV, don't have interesting friends that make them laugh. I don't know. I think we are so fortunate to have this community and something that we love to do together. So yeah. Dorothy, you send those icky family members to me. I'll chew their ass good for you. How about that? Okay, now I'm trying to clean up some of my mess here. And I bet I can clean up most of it. But by doing this and picking up a lot of that pigment, after I let that dry and I go over it with white ink, that watercolor won't run now because I've got most of the pigment up now. But just saturate it pretty good. Pick it up. Bye-bye, boo-boo. This particular blue is kind of a pain in the neck. But it went away. You're at the age you don't care what people think about what I do with my time and my stuff. Yeah. Now, see, Brenda, I was really fortunate that way. My mother and I had a lot of similar interests. So mother never would have said anything about my art. I think my brother that lives down here, he doesn't understand it. But see, his hobbies are hunting, golf. They're really active things, which I don't begrudge him even a little bit. But in the winter, what are you doing? You're sitting around with nothing to do. And he just now retired, so I think he's got some time. Look at how much of that purple came up, you guys. Ah, lucky girl, lucky girl. Oh, there's a goof up I did, really a bad goof up. My bad. But yeah, in the winter, of course, they're gonna, I think, start going down to Texas. So they'll be walking the beach and doing stuff like that. But you can't really golf a lot in the winter here. And hunting season is only, for a little while. That one's going to be a little bit more of a booger to get up, I think. That's okay. I think I'll be able to go over it with a white pen, so we'll see. Yeah, that one's going to be a little bit harder. That's all right. Let's get out our little white pen here. And there's that little bit of that blue left. Bye-bye. All gone. This green may want to spread a little bit because I haven't picked it up. We'll see. Yeah, looks okay. Wish I had some blue for there. There was a couple of places where I could have been just a tiny bit neater, but it's okay. Do y'all think I'm crazy for going in and cleaning up these areas? If I didn't, you wouldn't want to live in my head. Just saying. It would nag at me. Okay, that was fun. Let's try just quickly, and then I'll probably end a little bit early. Let me grab a piece of watercolor paper, and let's just play with some complementary colors. I'll just grab the B paper because I love the B paper. And if I need more, I'll just buy it. I probably have some other paper down here that I ought to use up, but whatever. That's going to mess with the camera. Well, Dorothy, what's really funny is, to me, the people who feel entitled, oh man, why won't you come out? Well, it's not coming, so. But the people who feel entitled to make a comment like, well, what are you going to do with it? Those are the same people who don't have a hobby. Did I? No, I put it over there. That's a weird thing. I never put my ruler over there. All right, let me just cut this real quick. The problem on stream is you put things in weird places and then you can't find anything. It's very annoying. Very, very annoying. But it's really fun when you clean up because then you find all the stuff that you put in the wrong place. It's like an Easter egg hunt. Your mom did oil painting. Well, and another thing, my mother had an aunt who was an incredible painter. And she did a lot of oil painting. And she also painted on china, which I'm sure had to be some sort of oil paint or something like that, you know, permanent on china. I still have some of her stuff. So, and it was my mother's favorite aunt. And so I think my mother always admired, her name was Aunt Fan. Her name was Fanny, but we called her Aunt Fan. I think she always admired Aunt Fan's talent, that she could make such beautiful things. And then she sold her art. So, I mean, she wasn't selling it for a lot, but she sold her art and made money. And I think that made a huge difference in my mother's head, you know, that you could do something fun and beautiful like that and make money doing it. Of course, truth is, hi, Joe Lou. Did I say hi? All right, now, there's the pencil I was looking for. All right, you guys. Now I'll be able to use my compass. I'll mark the center, or where the center on the circles is. Now I know where, we'll see if my thinking is right. How about that? But anyway, so, you know, my mother never would have discouraged anything. And I think that's partly because of her aunt. And Mom was always really good about buying us stuff to encourage our hobbies. She knew I loved to read. And most of the time I had to babysit to make my own money, to buy myself books and stuff like that. But she would make, you know, take us to the library or buy us a book or buy us crayons or buy us stuff to encourage things we were interested in. So I could always have, you know, crayons and markers. And I don't remember where we were, but I was with my dad and we were actually like at a gas station. And gas stations used to be just gas stations. They weren't these convenience stores that, you know, you can get anything in the world that you could ever want. And I don't remember why they had this display up in the gas station. And it was one of those, do you remember those posters? They weren't velvet, but they had that a pack of markers that came with them. And it was at the gas station. I'll never forget it. It was 20th and Kipling. Yep, Kipling in Denver, Colorado, Lakewood, Colorado. And it had animals and flowers, and the box display had one of them colored. And I'd gone into the gas station with my dad, and I don't even know how old I was. I don't remember. But I was just enthralled with that poster art and the markers and everything. And Dad said, "Do you like that?" And I said, "I love it." He said, "Do you want it?" I said, "I want it." And my dad bought me that poster, and I colored and colored and colored on that crazy thing. And when I moved out of the house at age 18, it still wasn't done. Okay. But I packed up that poster and those markers and took it with me when I left my mom's house. I might have moved that down here. I don't know. But yeah, it was in a tube, Jane. I loved that so much, but it was just so weird because that was so unlike my dad. My dad was not stingy, but for him to recognize that I loved that, I was just so enthralled with it. And I don't think I would have asked my dad. I would have asked my mom, "Mom, can I have that?" She probably would have said no. But he recognized that I was just so enthralled with that poster. And he said, "Do you want that?" It's the one time in my life I remember my dad indulging me like that. Now he would tell Mother, "Just get her what she wants." I mean, I heard that a lot. Just get her what she wants, because he didn't want the hassle. But for him to volunteer and say, "Do you want that?" It just made such an impression on me that here I am, probably 50 years later, more than 50, because wasn't not. I'm going to my 50th high school graduation, or I'm not going, but I got the invitation. Yep, I used to too, Terry. You give me something like that, a poster to color or a book. That was it. I was quiet for the next 100 days. And I didn't even notice, that did my dad know the things I liked? That he would just know that that was something I was enthralled with and wanted to mess with? I don't know. It's just stuck with me all these years. All right, I'm just going to do those big circles, but this would be the start for my next art like this. And I'm going to use, where did I put it away? I did. All right, I'm going to use the compass to get the small border. Terry, had you used a compass on yours? All right, that whole center thing didn't necessarily work, but it'll be okay. I can live with this. Maybe I should test it a little bit. Move this over just a hair, man. That is very sensitive. Like, makes a big difference on the circumference of a circle. Okay. And the reason I have to do it this way is because my compass that holds a pen, I screwed it up. I need a new one. But have no fear, I will buy a new one if I can find a good one that I like. Actually, the oblivious mind, yeah, I'll put a border on this one too. I think I messaged her one time and asked her, "What kind of compass do you have?" Because I loved the one she had, and she's never answered. And I imagine she gets hundreds of messages, so I'm not surprised that she didn't, but I really wish she had. My bad. Yeah, I really wish she had. What the hell is wrong with me? I wish she had answered me and told me, because I would have searched high and low. I would have bought it off eBay if it's an antique one. And I was reading a blog the other day when I was looking, and they said, if you're looking for a good compass, look in vintage stores and stuff like that, back when they made them all out of metal and everything wasn't plastic. Because my biggest problem right now is everything's plastic. So there you go. All right, let's try and ink these in. It would be so easy if I could just have a compass that would just write with ink. Okay, now Terry, because I was thinking of a way that I could add gold to it. Maybe if I did this, I'm losing my voice. With the border, I could figure out how to incorporate the gold into this border like we do on the crack art. What do you think? Okay, I did good on that one. Your best compass came from a thrift store. Does it hold a pen, Brenda? I know you can get a compass at the thrift store, but I want one with that will hold a pen and doesn't have a plastic screw. You know, the thing you tighten. I don't know what got into my throat. Hard to freehand a circle, you guys. So hard. I better get something to drink. See, that's what I'm wondering, Terry. But one of the things I like about the gold is where they meet, you make them go, under and over each other, kind of like a Celtic knot. So I'd have to give that some thought. So that you could make them go under, over, I don't know. And it could be that it's just not ever going to work. Or I wouldn't like it. I don't know. I'm going to mess with it. I know that. Now I'm going to have to go back and look at Terry's. Because not all Terry's, I goofed up. Not all Terry's circles had these borders around. But I really like that. And then I didn't incorporate it into mine. I think I'm just moving too fast. But for just practice, this will be fine. Until I get a decent flipping compass around here. All right, one more and then I'm done. And we're going to try blue and orange. Like if you did red and green, it's going to look like a Christmas painting. But blue and orange, yeah, whoever does that except a football team. But we'll just see what it looks like on the same painting. It might look cool. And I don't know, maybe some of you are really good at visualizing. I am not good at visualizing. Like if I see something I like, I'm like, oh, I like that. I'm going to do that. Bye, Barbara. Yeah, I'm not sure either, Terry. Depending on how much time I got here. Let me get the paint over here. Let's see if I have another little palette dish that's clean. Oh, lucky me. All right, let's look at, there's one of my cheat sheets. There's the other cheat sheet. All right, let's look at what color. Orange is a weird color, so I think I'm going to use the 04. That is definitely a Prima paint because it was in their very first set. I don't need a huge amount because I'm not going to do a huge painting, but comes out a little bit more even if you put it in a little palette like this. And then the blue that will go with this orange, just for play, let's go with a real, I'm wanting to say a real dark one. I want a darker one. Maybe 134. Yeah, let's use 134. Let's see where that is. This one. That has orange in the paintbrush still. Clean that off. That'll give me brown. Yeah, there's a little ladybug, it looks like. Look. Come on, go up on my finger so I can show the ladies. Okay. Got a little bug. A little bug. I'm not going to kill him, but he's going to go live in the trash can. That's the one thing about summer. Ugh, bugs. Hopefully True Green will come and spray here pretty quick so I'm not dealing with that crap because I don't like the bugs. All right, let's put this aside. And this time we're going to do just two colors, only the blue and the orange. I'm not going to do the whole thing, okay? But let's just say, now I have to look at Terry's because with that border ring, was that just black and white, Terry, or did you paint in that? I don't know. Yeah, it was very tiny, Dee Dee. But it had little dots on its back. All right, it looks like the border ring, she did black and white. Okay. Just looking, kind of getting it in my head. And then that white there, well, the black and the white both acted like the white on the other one. Okay. All right. Alternate black and white. Yeah. Look at Mr. Pen Compass. That's the one that I broke, Mama Juju. Yeah, Starla, I know, but they're, if you look at them, they're still plastic. I need a metal one. And I know they make them. I've seen them, but Amazon, I've only gone back like maybe one page. I might have to go back 3 or 4 pages before I can actually find one. Or I need to be able to write specs that will, and just do a general Google search. To find what I need. All right, I'm going to just erase this one here real quick. Let's do the black and the white like Terry did. Okay, so this, I'm going to color in that square there, which means that's white. The little square where they overlap. So every little square on this one gets colored in, and the big areas stay white. And probably if I start it that way, it's going to end up that way throughout the whole painting, which is fine too. But another thing Terry did that would break that up then, okay, we'll add it in this one, is she did some circles without the borders. So let's add right in here. Let's do this one. So then I put up a barrier so that, okay, let's just finish this real quick. And that's how you get some of the border that is black, because then it would be white. Then this area would be black. But if I'd have put a, you know, done a circle within a circle, I wouldn't have gotten that. And that's how you can introduce black up into your drawing. Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, so that's white. This is black. Okay. I think if you do it enough time, you kind of could plan some of this out ahead of time, right? But then, like this whole white area, depending on how you start your painting, this is going to be all white. I'm going to add circles to that. I'll only work here in the center where I'm not going to add anymore. Because otherwise you're going to have big white areas or big painted areas, which if I'm mixing the paints won't bother me, you know, if you get some really cool effects with your paints. Another thing you could do is add salt. Hey, Judy-O. Oh, Judy, I would have been in heaven. They just threw that stuff away. Ah, you lucky dog. I would have been in heaven. Heaven. All right. I think I definitely need some clean water, but I'm almost done here. So let's just paint with some complementary colors and see what happens. Now, I won't be able to mix these colors. I could add two other shades of each of the colors and mix to get some cool effects, but I'm not going to do that here. So that's going to be blue, and I'll do this one orange. A two-color painting could be very cool. And it makes it a lot easier for choosing what your color is going to be. It's always when you add that third color that it becomes, now I got to decide. This is going to look like Bronco painting. Okay, so that's going to be blue. And if I don't add something over here, this one would be blue. Try not to paint something that I'm going to stick my hand in. These are not normally colors that I would choose to put together, but it could end up being Very cool. Okay, I'm looking here. Is that the one? Okay, still just a little bit damp. I just went and got some of the darker blue right out of the pan. All right, I think this is going to be interesting enough that I will like it. All right, here, let's, I always want to add more. And I definitely don't want all of that to be blue. So let's do, where's my smaller circle template? Where did I do with it? There it is. Stay out of the wet paint. Stay out of the wet paint. All right, we'll see what that much break does. All right, so all the outside is going to be dark blue because that's white. That means that would be white, and that one could be a color. Let's clean the paintbrush and don't get blue in our orange. I think with just a little bit of thought, you could pull this off. That means that whole section there is white. And maybe the big areas of color like this, you could introduce some doodling with white or gold. All right, now my brain's going a little cuckoo. You need to try this. You want to do this. And now I'm back into crack art. What are you going to do? And I need some more blue paint. I did not get out enough. I'm only going to be here another few minutes, so I don't want to get out too terribly much. Now I'm going to want to play with this for the next however long, and I've committed myself to working outside this week, getting my gardens put together, so it may be a while before I can revisit. I'll have some time in the morning waiting for it to warm up a little bit probably. I don't want to start hurrying and make a mess either, though, which is what I am inclined to do here. All right, let's get some back out of the pan. And variegate it a little bit. Okay, what's Judy saying? Queen and King. If I find a compass of quality, I'll send it on to you, of course. I still have 3 boxes to go through, so I have treasures. Well, Judy, I would very much appreciate that, and I would happily pay you, buy it from you, and pay for postage if it truly is the most awesome compass on the planet. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, now if we do this, this one's going to be blue. That means this big circle here would be white. All right, I should tell you what we're going to do. This could be a big fat boy mistake, but we're going to, well, it's still wet, so I can't. All right, you guys, I'm going to play with this. I like the blue and the orange. I really do. So just remember the complementary colors: blue, orange, red, green, violet or purple, and yellow. Purple and yellow could be really good with this too. Green and red, I don't think I'd mess with it unless you're doing a Christmas painting, because the blue, the red and the green are always going to feel like Christmas no matter how you do them. So, but yeah, the blue and the orange, they look really good together. And I'm thinking it might be fun to doodle, like make yourself a rule that if I have white inside of a circle like that, that those are the areas that I'm permitted to doodle in. So I could do, now I'm going to totally break the rules, okay? Because I have more paper and I could do this. And you wouldn't have to do anything really elaborate, but a good checkerboard is always awesome. All right, I'm about ready to finish here, but I just, now that I started this, I'm going to go ahead and then maybe limit the amount of different sorted doodles so it all looks somewhat cohesive when you're done. Is you could maybe limit the number of doodles that you do on here. So I would make sure that somewhere on this drawing I would repeat. Ooh, I just put my hand in it. I knew I would do that before I was done. Okay, there you go. There are no rules. I'm doing that. But then I would make sure that I repeated that somewhere else at least one more time, probably two more times. Yeah, playing dangerously now, right? But since I've limited it to two colors, maybe two colors and two designs, and then you have to use that to create whatever whatever comes out is what comes out. I'm going to go ahead and finish playing with this. So you guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I know your time is valuable and I appreciate you spending it with me. So go out and find something creative and fun to do. Be nice, be kind if you can. It's getting harder for me every day, but I still try. And yeah, I'll see you around the interwebs. Love you guys. See you. Bye.